Evening, folks. Welcome to this evening's seminar hosted by the Canadian Avalanche Association. Tonight we're going to have Stuart Smith, and he's going to be talking about the new apps launched in the InfoEx platform. And this is another one of the orientation sessions tonight. So just a couple of housekeeping. You folks all came on, you're muted automatically and your video shut off. This is a bit of an informal meeting in some respects because you'll have access to all of your mic and your video. So if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand, just hit the reactions button at the bottom. It's got a raise hand option. We can draw you out of the participant list and you can ask your question verbally of Stuart and have a discussion that way. If you would rather just type in the chat box, you can go ahead and use that method as well. And we'll try and keep up if there's a bit of a heavy chat flow going. So I'm going to hand it off to Stuart and hope you folks enjoy the evening. Thanks for showing up.
Thanks, Brent. I'll just get my share screen going. What we're going to do today is very quickly just provide a bit of background about how we got to where we are today with the new app launches, and then we'll dive into using InfoEx. I guess we've probably got a variety of different users here. I'm going to try and go from the kind of most generic stuff that will be of interest to everyone to then like filter back to more administrative functionality or extension functionality. So yeah, I'll try and keep just keep where we're going to, and yeah, feel free to drop off if we've covered the stuff that's of interest to you. Okay, so let's get screen sharing going. Okay, Brent, can you just confirm you're seeing the PowerPoint now?
We do see it, and it's just in working mode right now. We just gotta, yeah. Perfect. There you go, looking good.
Okay, I'm going to skip through a lot of this, and I've highlighted some key points to keep us efficient this evening. So the new InfoEx apps are a result of the MainX project, which was funded by is funded by the Canadian federal government Search and Rescue New Initiatives Fund for a 3-year project. The project is still ongoing until the end of March next year. And as part of the project, CAN subscribers have pledged and are contributing significant in-kind contributions for the software development and testing feedback, etc. So MainX stands for Mobile Avalanche Information Exchange, and the objectives of the project are to develop a robust online data exchange system that is optimized both for mobile and desktop devices, and to implement a design which supports system upgradability and ongoing feature enhancements in what is a rapidly changing tech landscape. So kind of looking forward to hopefully setting us up for success for future years. So the major focus in the last I don't know 6 or 9 months has been getting the new desktop app ready for this season, and that's been really topmost in mind. So anything not essential for this has been deferred until the desktop app is stable, and for sure there's lots of stabilization, user interface and other improvements that we're aware of and that are still to do. So there's a bunch of work going on all the time to try and make the new app more stable, more easy to use, and we're trying to prioritize the most important things to be tackled in order. And I guess on that note, for sure we haven't got everything right first time, so you know, that's I think normal in software development projects, and we're looking for feedback as to what's working for you and what suggestions for improvements. And like one thing that's come up for sure as an example is the observation entry section. From a code point of view, there's some challenges there, and the drop-down menu that's used to enter observations, that's become a bit unwieldy and needs to be improved. So it's great that we got the desktop app launched, and it's in good use now. But for sure, the transition from a relatively stable old app to the new app will have pain points. And yeah, as I said, it's like the launch here is kind of it's not the final destination. It's a stepping stone to where we want to get to, and there's lots and lots still to do. And just a note, please, if you do hit any of the pain points, bumps in the road, have problems, get in touch either by phone or through the support ticket system, and yeah, let us know what's going on, and we will definitely want to resolve your problems when they're reported as quickly and as possible. Okay, so on to InfoEx. So I'm in the homepage here, and I'm signing into one of our test systems, which are available for anyone to use. So if you want to play around in a system that's completely separate from the real system, then yeah, then let me know, and the links are available, and you should be able to sign in. So the homepage at the moment is gonna evolve. It's not gonna be like this forever. But right now it's pointing out the kind of key information that you need to know to transition to using the new app. So there's links to help videos, and there's information on updating your workflows to be usable in the new app. And depending on your setup, there may be more or less to do there. If you have lots of freeform steps, they're one thing that needs some attention. But I'm just going to start with a couple of InfoEx like basics, just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page. So probably the kind of foundational point of InfoEx is the location catalog, and that's set up for each operation by your administrators, and it basically any bit of data that is submitted and saved in InfoEx has to be associated with a location. So you pick that either as part of your workflow or as part of your observation entry. And the location is associated, it has to exist in this location catalog. And its existence in this location catalog is reliant on it being like associated with a geographic location. So everything has got a location on a map. So that could be just dropping a point, or it could be a polygon, or it could be a line. So that's your starting point there. We're now going to look at some observations, and I'm going to start on the phone maybe. So I've got my phone here, and I'm signed into the same system as I'm in on the desktop there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an observation. I'm not going to try and show you exactly what I'm doing, but let's say I'm maybe driving home after a day in the field, and I'm going to do a field summary. So I'm just going to fill in a tiny bit of data. and save that on my phone. So that's now saved on my phone. And I've got a couple of options. I can submit it directly to InfoEx if I have that privilege. So if I'm an administrator or a submission moderator, or I can share it to the operation. So that's what I'm going to do now. So that's been shared. So what happens when data is shared is it goes to the review data page. So this is the field summary I've just submitted on my phone, and it immediately appears in this review data page. So that's one pathway. Another is I could enter data on the desktop. So I'm not going to try and do any real data here, but let's just put in something. So that's now sitting in enter data on the desktop computer here. And I've got a couple of options. Again, it's the same as on the mobile. I can submit them directly to InfoEx because I've got that permission, or I can share it to the operation. So I'm going to share it to the operation again. So that will join the field summary in the review data page. So from here, this is displaying the observations that are currently saved on the server in review status. So I'm picking them up. And also, if any of my co-workers are in InfoEx on different computers, if they go to the review data screen, they are going to see the same observations here. So it's live at that point in time. And the other thing you can do, or where they can exist, is in a workflow. So I've got a workflow set up for this. So I start the workflow. It's a simple workflow. And I go to observations. And here we go. The observations have pre-filled. So because they're in review status, they are appearing in this workflow if the locations are matching. So I'm doing this workflow for the entire Revelstoke operation, and these observations are appearing. So you can do a couple of things. So maybe for some reason we don't want the snow profile in this workflow. So I'm going to delete it. So that leaves the field summary. So we've got the field summary here, and I'm going to submit this. So what's happened here is the workflow will be giving the field summary final submission status. So it's here, and if I go to reports for today, there's the field summary. So when I go back to observations, review data, the field summary now no longer exists. It's been submitted, so it's no longer in review status, and so it no longer appears on this page. But the snow profile, we deleted it as part of the workflow, but that does not delete it from the database. So it still exists in the review data page. So that's the flow, and that's the process. And it probably needs some thought and coordination to be kind of having a reliable process, as it's quite possible for observations to be I guess kind of orphaned at this review stage if you don't keep tab of what's in this review data page. So I'm going to pause there. Is that making sense for folks, or are there any questions kind of arising from that?
Doesn't look like we have any questions so far, Stuart.
Okay, So that's the data flow, and you'll see it's very flexible. Now you can do a bunch of stuff on your phones or your tablets when you're not in the office, and either submit them directly to InfoEx or to bring them in for review either on this page, or to have them autofill into your workflows and then submitted as part of your workflows. So to support that, there's a concept of observation templates. And the kind of common usage here will be to set up one template for your operation. So this will be an administrator who does this. Oh, I see a question come in. Keith, so I think what you're asking is if you submit to InfoEx and you realize that there's maybe a mistake, a typo, something like that, it's in there forever. So as of right now, that is still the same, although my theme of the start was there's lots still to do, and that's actually near the top of the list to look for a way to edit submitted observations so can correct typos that have been made. So hopefully that would be a benefit. Although there's probably swings and roundabouts there. The current system likely makes people very diligent, as they know they get one try, and it would perhaps be a backward step if there's a bunch of like observations with typos that are then getting corrected later. Anyway, it's something that's going to be looked at shortly. So hopefully that answers your question, Keith. And we're looking at the observation template here. So this is one I've set up already. And basically you will see you've got your different observation types along the top here, and you can build them, each of them differently as to what fields you're interested in. So I'm in field summary here, and I've just got one field in. So perhaps I want the start time and the end time in. There we go. I've just clicked on those if that interaction is difficult to perceive. So I clicked on those, and then they get added to the main bit of the form here. So basically, you're now in a position to order what you've just put in. So I'm going to want observation time before temperature. So I'm using the arrows. And if for a strange reason I wanted end time before start time, I could change them around there. So there we go. So I've just changed field summary. So I'm going to save this right now. I'm going to go back to enter data. And we're in field summary. So this is exactly what we just set up in the template there. I've added these favorite fields, and they appear there. And it's exactly the same on your phone. That the templates help you bring the fields you're interested in entering regularly to the top of the form. So on mobile, that's very nice, and you can enter them, order them, and enter them easily that way. So that's the kind of concept there, and they're all is all the same. It's all the same kind of situation. So if I want to do avalanche observation, maybe I'm interested in the trigger distance. There we go. We've added that to the bottom, and if you want to add it, move it up, then you're just shuffling everything around with the arrow keys here. And the only one that's slightly different is the weather observations. So you get an extra option here to create specific templates for different weather sites. So you can click on that. So we've got 2 weather sites in our operation, and that means you can set up different favorite fields for different weather sites. So for weather site 2, I've got this favorites, grain farm. For weather site 1, I've got those. Maybe I'm interested in temperatures. I'm going to add them in, move attachments down. So that brings them there. I'm going to save this as active again. And where this comes in is under weather observations, you get a couple of sub-menus. And if you go into that sub-menu, you can see we've got the favorite fields that we just added, the temperatures. And these have actually been pre-filled because this weather site is hooked into one of the BC MOTI hourly feeds. So it's picking up the data from there. Okay, so that's observation templates. As I say, it's one template you set up for your operation. Once it's active, everyone in your operation is using the same template, and they're using it on their mobile devices and desktop. Are there any questions on that? I think I'm going to move on to report customization next. But I'll pause for any questions on observation templates or observations in general.
So if you got it covered there, Stuart.
Okay, great. So observations is data in, entering data, reviewing data, submitting data. Reports is viewing data that has been submitted by you and other InfoEx operations. So everyone will get, in our test system, there's a few more, but in the real system, you have your standard today report, your standard yesterday report, and your messages. Keep an eye on messages at the moment, as that's what's going on with any updates. And basically, you'll probably want to load up standard today or standard yesterday, and that would be your starting point for making any customizations if you want to change your data view to be different from the standard reports. So there might be a bunch of reasons you want to do that. And I guess we'll dive in and look at what controls you have to configure. So I've set up this control history previously. So I'll basically go through in order of the options that you have. So let's start at the top. So if you are an administrator and you have reduced your data to just be of your own operations, you can export to CSV. You can create a PDF of any report that you are viewing. And there is a note here for PDFs. I have yet to understand what's going on with Chrome or other browsers, but sometimes pop-ups are being blocked. So it looks like the PDF is generating, and then you can easily miss a message here saying that PDFs are blocked. So that it's in this area here that it would be. And then you need to unblock like pop-ups, or it's a message like that to get the PDF to appear. So if you're having problems with PDFs not displaying, that is your thing to look at. So moving on from that, the first control here is the time period for the report. So basically you can do relative dates. So that's always in relation to what the current day is. So that might be today, yesterday, a month to date, year to date, or season to date, or a last any number of days. So they are all relative to the current date. And then you can also hard code in dates as well by using the date picker here. So for instance, if you wanted to go to a report for 1st of October, you could change this to 1st of October, and that would be what you get. So I'm not going to do that now, but that's how you can get data for different time periods. So next along, there's a compass icon, and that's for configuring the locations that you're viewing. So you've got 4 exclusive options. You pick one of them, and one of them is active at a time. So your options are to pick one or more locations from your own operations location catalog. You can then select one or more operations in their entirety. So at the moment, I've selected my own operation, so Canadian Avalanche Association. So I'm restricting it to one operation. So that's a thing you might want to do. For Canadian users, you've got mountain ranges you can select. And the last option is a potentially powerful option in that you can draw a polygon to basically say, I want to see all the observations in this polygon. So that irrespective of what operation they're for, it should pick up all the data that is inside the polygon that you draw. So I'm going to cancel this again and stick with what we had. So next is the tables that you're viewing. So at the moment, I've got switched on avalanche observations and snow profiles, and these are all the options that you have now. So there's some new stuff in here. So the freeform is new, and we're gonna look at that in a bit more detail later. But previously, freeforms were only they were totally tied to workflows. So you could only define them in workflows, submit them in workflows, and view them in workflows once they've been submitted. Now they've been decoupled from workflows. So you can still do exactly what you used to do with submitting them as part of a workflow, but you can also now submit them directly from your phone or from the observations entered data, and then they can appear in reports here. And the other new option is control planning, and that was very similar. That was always a special workflow step that was tied to a workflow. So now you can do control planning outside of a workflow, and you can view the result of your control planning in a report tab as well. So you can turn on and off what you want, and then you can start dragging and dropping to reorder them as well. So there's a couple of checkboxes here. These are slightly different from the old app. So the show latest and day basically controls, so say an operation has done a morning workflow and an afternoon workflow. It means like your hazard or snowpack description, if they've been done both in the morning and in the evening, you only are viewing the later one, so the evening one, so it avoids that duplication. And they include proprietary data. There are some observation types that have the option to be shared or not to be shared, and that's the proprietary data. and there's some. So let's just to go through it. So some Avalanche observations, if you're a control extension subscriber, you have configuration as to which observations are submitted as part of the control extension. So that allows you not to overwhelm the data exchange with a bunch of NRs or repeated size 1 occurrences. And next up is location status. So that's your run list extension. So if you're rating statuses as part of the run list extension, they are by default proprietary, private, or not shared. So to view them, you need to check on the include proprietary data checkbox. Freeform are configurable. They are now optionally shared or not shared. So you might want to use them to record a bunch of proprietary information that's not of relevance or interest to the wider community. So in which case you can not share them. But if there are free forms that you want to share, then you can share them and they'll appear in reports for everyone. Control planning is like the location status, private by default. So you need to turn on the include proprietary data to see them. Okay, and the tab layout is whether you see, so we're in tab layout, so you get your tabs next to each other. The other option is to display, in this case, snow profiles underneath avalanche observations. So next, you've got some options to group by. This is set to group by date, so it's grouping by date. You've also got options to group by range, operation, or no grouping at all. So you can play around with that depending on how you want to customize the report and what you want to see and see which option suits best. So then we're now moving to the table level filtering. So basically, I'm now in the avalanche observation table and I can add filters for that. So there's a bunch of powerful stuff you can do here. I'm just going to do a very simple example to give you the idea. So we've got the comment switched on. So I'm going to do a filter on comment. And you'll see here, there's one comment cut. So I'm going to say I want to match where it contains cut. I'm going to save that filter. So basically, it leaves me with one observation that matches that filtering criteria. And there's a little filter icon that now appears on the column that's being filtered. So again, it's another thing that you can play around with and customize the data to view the data that's important for you for your specific use case. So I'm gonna take this filter off. So we're back to everything. And then the last thing is, I don't know, maybe we'll move to none for this. So you can do sorting on columns. So at the moment, multi-column sorting is off. So we've got a single column sort on, and that's on date. So you can change your column as to what how you want to filter. So we're doing locations. Maybe you want to filter on time, you could filter on time. So that's the kind of idea there. And multi-column sorting is basically set up in some reports. So it's basically saying, first of all, I want to sort by operation, then I want to sort by trigger, and then by date. I don't think it's working quite as it's set up right now. And it's a little bit finicky to get going, but for instance, you might want to go on operation and then perhaps on on num as your second filter, and then keep building for there. And the last thing here, I don't think this is fully implemented yet, but you could in theory start typing, and it's restricting the data as you're typing to try and hit matches there. I think there's some flaws in it and it needs improvements, but it certainly works to some degree. So I've just typed in NR, and I've just got the no result entries here. Okay, so that's reports. I think we've hit on hopefully most of the high points, and then actually doing something. So you need to click on this edit, and then you've got options. So you can save the report as a personal report. If you're an operations administrator, you can save them as a report that's available for all your operation. So that's your options there. So you can save as, or in this case, if I want to update the control history, I can just click on save changes, and I'll get it like that. Okay, so I'm going to pause again for questions on reports, report customizations, or anything else we've covered so far.
We still have no, oh, so it sounds like it's possible to save more than one report template?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to discard those changes. So this is how it's building up. You've got 3 sections here. So the system is the same for everyone. So in the live system, you have your 3 reports that I mentioned earlier. So for my operation here, I've set up 3 operation reports. So they're available to everyone in my operation when they sign in to the operation. And then you can also set up personal reports. So anyone can do that. So they may be, you might use them just in one operation if you're just associated with one operation, but they would follow you around from operation to operation as well. Hopefully that covers your question there, Keith. If there's no more, we'll move on. So just to update where we're at, we're going to look at freeform templates and workflow setups. So this is more veering into the realm of what administrators would do, but everyone might be interested in learning a bit more about freeform templates. And then we're going to look at the extensions. There's been some changes to the run list and the avalanche control extension configurations. So we're going to look at them afterwards. So we're going to dive into freeform templates. So as I said, these have been decoupled from workflows. So that means we need to configure them somewhere else. So you'll now find this in operation settings. So if you're an administrator, you've got an option for freeform templates, and you can add new templates there. There is a copy function, but this is kind of there's some polishing to do with this. I'd be hesitant to be copying unless you really know what you're doing there. So maybe add one at a time. So I've got one set up. So it's more or less the same concept. You now need to associate a location with a freeform template. So probably most of the time that makes sense to have it as your operation area. Then you name it. You can provide instructions if you want, and you can put in some default content. So I've done a very simple example here. Okay, so that's how you set them up, and I've saved a couple here. So what you can do is I guess I'm gonna let's mimic the phone on on the desktop here. So I'm mimicking a phone. So on your phone, you've got these free-form templates. So that's the two that we have defined. So I think I was in reflections. So you can see here it's come up with the default content. So I can so I might be, whatever, not behind my desk on my phone. So I've added some content there. Could put in an attachment as well. Okay, so I'm going to save that. I'm going to share this to operation. So we'll share to operation. Okay, so let's go back to desktop. So same thing should have happened again. So we have our free form here. So you can now do what you want with it at the review data stage. So it's been shared. It's available to everyone in your operation who's a submission moderator or an administrator, and they can now view this free form, hopefully along with the attachment. So can edit it, submit it, or we can do the same again. We go to our workflow. So the snow profile, that was still kicking about in the review screen. And there we go. It's in the workflow again. So it's getting another chance. And here's the free form. So we've said we want a reflections step in the workflow here. And it's filled with the content that I just added on the phone. You can see that here. So we could then add some more on desktop. Okay, so there we go. We have our snow profile. We've got our default content with our attachment, and we can now submit that. So here's the snow profile, and here's the freeform with the attachment. It's private, so I had the option to share it, but I chose not to, so it's private. So if we went to reports today, so let's say we want to look at the freeform. It's there's been a bunch of freeforms being submitted in our test system. Yeah, we've been testing out the there's a new text font size, so there we go. So that's all in there. So we're not seeing mine. That's because include proprietary data is not on, and hopefully this now appears somewhere. Oh, here we go. Added on phone, added some more on desktop, and we've got our attachment. Okay. So that is freeform templates. So one, please, ask a question if there's anything on that, and I'm then going to now connect them into workflows. So if you're an administrator, you might be coming in to InfoEx. And we've got some work to do first time around. So you might be having a problem with the report step. because it's associated with a report template from the previous app. So you need to basically you need to pick one that's in your current. So that could be a standard or any of your custom reports for your operation. So that's what you need to do to update report steps. And the same freeforms, they will be invalid when you first come in. I'm going to delete this one. So basically, you get your templates listed here, and all you need to do is say this step is for a template called REST. That's good. So then I've got one more template. You'll see it's this is the kind of error you might get when you first come into your workflows in the new app. So you need to say, I want to associate it with a template, and I've got one left, reflections. So there we go. Reflections is good. Everything is now good in the workflow, and we can save it. So that really is the two main things that you need to, for administrators, you need to look at in your workflows. Freeform templates for freeform steps. So first of all, you need to set them up in settings, freeform templates. Then you need to go to your workflow and drop them in. And reports, you need to make sure any of your report steps have a new report template that works in the current in the new application. So that is your kind of updating process. Any questions on workflow updating or freeform templates in general? Doesn't look like it right now. So I'm now going to move on to the extensions. So let's look at the run list extension first of all. So I've started a workflow. I think it's this one. So if you have any run list steps, it's the same as reports. You have to have a valid report associated with the run list step. So that needs to be dropped in here, and without that, you're not going to be able to save the step. So I've started setting up a very simple run list. So the main change here is there was a somewhat complex kind of building widget in the workflow that basically was tied in quite strongly with your location catalog structure. And the change here is more or less how your location catalog is structured is completely independent to how you set up your run list or location status rating if you're using it more generically. So you're still grouping. So you set up groups and that's the first stage. So I've set up group B already. So you name your group here. It's not specifically associated with any location in your location catalog. But if you're a ski guiding operation, you might have zones which have runs in them. So an obvious grouping might be to replicate your zones from your location catalog and use the runs in that. So if you've got zones, you can totally name them as the zone. So this is the new building widget. So basically, we've got three locations now, and you can pick them from wherever you want. So if I want to add another location in, for instance, this one, you click it on and it moves to this side. and then perhaps you want to order it differently, so you can use the drag and drop to order it. And that's it. Name your group and click in to add to your group. So I'm going to save that. Then you can check out here what you've got. Now I've got group A as well. So I can edit that if I want. Okay, I don't want this location in, so I'm going to get rid of that. And it will show you what's in your group with the check, what's in a different group, group B, and then the ones with the plus are available to be added. So maybe I want to add this in here. Okay, so there we go. If you're good with that, if everything's completed, you can say done and save your workflow. So if I go to this workflow now, the actual workflow step is more or less the same as the previous version. So for instance, you've got the status options here. You can configure them yourselves. You can have keyboard shortcuts. And if there's photos associated with the location, they are viewed. So I'm going to use the G for keyboard shortcut and move through them all there. So that's yeah, that's it. I guess we can follow the process through. You get your summary screen. I'm going to submit it. Then it generates the summary, and at that point, if all is good, you can create a PDF for the whole workflow, or for the run list step by itself, or you can set up email distribution groups either for the whole workflow or for the run list step by itself, and have that emailed. So I'm going to create the PDF, and that's the statuses I just rated. So that I think I missed one thing there. It's the same ordering ability. You can order the groups as well. So I've strangely got group B before group A, so maybe I want group A before group B. So there we go. That's done. I'm going to save that, and when I go back to start the next workflow, group A is now before group B. Okay, any questions on the run list?
From the floor there, Stuart, looks like you're covering it quite well.
Okay, so last item that I've got to look at is the control extension. So again, we have settings here. So you have your run list settings. So that's where you configure your statuses and your keyboard shortcuts, and whether or not a rating is included in the PDF. And then we have the avalanche control as well. So this is many similarities in that you can still set defaults for, as we were talking earlier, not overwhelming the data exchange with no result observations or less than a specific size. And then this is the kind of new thing. So this configuration here works right the way through the control extension. So that's for your control quick entry, and it's also for your control planning. So you're basically, your starting point is your control routes in your location catalog. So they exist, and you'll get one option here for each of your control routes. But then you have a lot more flexibility than you had before. Basically, this is disassociated with your location catalog structure. So you can do whatever you like here. You can add more locations. You can order them as you want. You can get rid of them. And you can even have the same avalanche path or shot placement. So it is restricted to avalanche paths and shot placements, but you can have the same one in more than one control route. So it offers more flexibility that way. And then the other new feature is you can, I guess, have default team members assigned for control routes. So that may be of interest to some operational contexts, but not to others. So it's entirely optional. But if you want to assign default patrollers, you or team members, you can. So we've done that for that. And we could do that here as well. So if that's done, basically it filters all the way through. So in control planning, you've got your team, the default team members are selected. Then you can select a blaster of record. And this screen is kind of a bit of a work in progress and is going to be improved again, hopefully shortly. So that's the kind of idea there, that you can do your planning. And if you want to fill in your details in a comment, you can do that. So if that's good, it's the same story as usual. You can share it to operation or you can submit to InfoEx. So we'll just submit that and that's gone. And now would appear in reports. So again, I need to switch on proprietary data. And that's the control planning there that we looked at. And there we go. The other option is, this was the menu that I mentioned right at the start that has become probably a bit unwieldy, especially in some operational contexts. So this is looking for a revamp, but right now you can go into your quick entry screen. And this is configurable using the observation template. So that's what's been configured here. So your control team is selected by default there from your settings, and the quick entry here is very similar to the previous app. So if you want to fill in an actual occurrence, you need to make sure all the required fields are selected, or you can just go with NR, and then there's no more needed here. So there is the photo overlay drawing tool that's available as part of the extension, and also for anyone who has a photo associated with an observation. This might not render very well, but let's just do that. So we've got that in, and the other option here is for avalanche observations, snow profiles, etc. You can also use the Map It tool to drop a pin or draw a polygon if you want to really associate a specific location with an observation. So we've done all that. That's all good. The sharing has been configured by the default settings. Maybe we want to share that. I don't know. And then you can submit them. So hopefully they're going to appear in the control history report along with a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, there we go. And the icons here, there's now a different icon for photo overlay. So that's the photo overlay. You'll see you'll see here that it's actually a photo overlay rather than an actual attachment. So attachment normally being a like a real photo potentially. Yeah. So I think that's hopefully hit some pertinent points that are of interest to you. I guess I'd open it to kind of final questions. Is there something maybe I haven't covered that you're interested in asking about, or that we can dive into, or any general questions?
I'm sure someone must have an underlying thought here, maybe, Stuart. It was very concise. You covered everybody's details. I know people are probably pondering right now, and as soon as we end the meeting, they'll go, but I had that. So if anything, folks, please, you can unmute yourself, show your webcam, give some questions to Stuart here, and if we don't get anything, then I think he's covered it, and we call the night.
Yeah, well, I guess while we're canvassing for any last questions, I probably would like to reiterate that we welcome feedback, and especially if you run into a problem, a bug, please do get in touch and let me know, and we'll do the best we can to resolve it as soon as we can. So that there might be workarounds. We can do hot fixes quite quickly. We've been doing that the last few weeks. So we have a good process. So if there's a simple bug, potentially we can turn around the fix really quite quickly. Yeah. So yeah, I hope the new app with the mobile functionality might be of use for your operational. Okay, thanks for your comments, Sean.
Well, it looks like you may have got everybody going. I think once people start using it through the season, it's gonna really pick out the bugs and the features to death there, Stuart.
Absolutely. Okay, well, great. Really appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yeah, thanks everybody for your time, and have a great evening. Thanks, Stuart.
Thanks, Brent. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay. Bye, folks.